This old town is so neat. Like we have these old graveyards just full of all kinds of like Freemason headstones, but then like throughout these graveyards and the parks and all this stuff, we have these like huge trees. Like some of them are so big and thick, it's awesome. There's all kinds of stuff out this way. They just love putting their token cannons in front of any place that they call a war zone, or there was a battle, or at their forts or monuments, whatever the case may be. But they just toss these there and call it a day. Oh, yeah, that's what happened. So we're at another star fort, a few kilometers from the last one. And yeah, another star fort, Fort George. It's closed today, but I don't think that's going to stop us from doing a walk around. At some point in time, I'll be doing some drone shots as well, but for now, we're going to do a little walking tour of Fort George. So, as per usual with a lot of these sites, they have these token cannons that they throw in after the fact, but based on a lot of the things that we've been looking into, the like alternative history kind of stuff, a lot of this stuff is staged, and they say it was built or made from this point in time, but really we look at a lot of these things to be a lot older than what we're told. And same goes for technology. You know, things have been around a lot longer. This is actually one of the. It's weird. There's three of these forts all kind of close together. There's Fort Mississauga, Fort Ontario, and then Fort George. But funny enough, Fort Ontario is actually across the water on the American side. So we're not actually. It's weird because you'd think Fort Ontario would be on the Canadian side, not the American side. You know, like Fort York or something like that would make more sense to me. You know what I mean? So I don't really fully understand that, but yeah, it's Bastion Fort. We'll look at some of the stuff going on with this, but most of this region, everything's related to the War of 1812. So it's kind of what they're going with as far as the narrative goes for all this stuff and what was going on. Yeah. So yeah, we're aware of history and what it tells us, but basically the idea is that we're questioning a lot of those things, just looking at it from a different perspective. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, we'll do a little walk around, and same with the last star fort I was at earlier this morning. I'll share some drone footage at some point in time when I get a chance to upload it. So I don't know if you guys can read this, but it says it's constructed. Holy fuck! Okay, constructed by order of Lieutenant Governor Simcoe, 1796 to 99. So it only took them like 3 years to build. Just wait till you see how big this thing is. Fort George served as headquarters for Major General Brock in 1812. In May of 1813, it was bombarded and captured by the Americans, who constructed fortifications of their own on the site. These were in turn retaken by the British in December of 1813. In 1815, Fort George was described as tumbling into ruins and ordered abandoned. The present works are a reconstruction done in 1937 and 1940 and represent the fort as it was 1799 to 1813. Only the magazine of the original fort remains. Interesting. I like the fact that they say they built this fucking thing in like 3 years. Can you imagine? Like a lot of these things, like we'll look at it's just because it's the thing. The reason I question this stuff, question a lot of this historical stuff, is because of my construction experience. And when I look at these places and I look at the amount of work they would have had to do to just even digging alone, not even any fortifications or building anything else, like 3 years is not a lot of time. You know what I mean? So it's interesting to question these things, and yeah, we're gonna take a little peek, see what we can see. It's been a while. Like I grew up around here, and it's so neat now to know what I know about like star forts and some of these technologies and whatnot. So it's interesting to get a different view. Now, this one I like more than the other little mini one, just with all the like trenches and whatnot that they have. But some people would have said at one point in time these would have all been filled with water. It was like some type of moat. But oh, cool. So there's a few different things going on here. The fortified mouth of the Niagara River. So the St. Lawrence and Great Lakes system was the most efficient route to the interior of the continent of North America. Large waterways allowed for substantial sailing vessels to trade and maintain contact with native allies from Montreal to Mississippi. With minimal portages and transshipment in smaller boats. The one great obstacle along the chain of waterways was Niagara Falls, whose dramatic height required some control of the land to allow for portage around the escarpment and the falls to the lakes beyond. Yeah, the escarpment's pretty neat. It's just huge. It's huge, actually, and especially right in this area. I feel like there's all kinds of stuff like kind of hidden along it, and I'm curious about it. But yeah, so there's a little bit of information I can read if you guys want. If not, I can kind of move on, just show you the fort or whatever. But just trying to see pertinent information. They engaged in several artillery duels. It was destroyed, captured, kind of back and forth thing, like I was explaining from the other plaque there. But yeah, the starforts are really neat. It's hard to see from this picture, but this was the one I was at earlier. Now there's another one here, and across the water is here. And sorry, I was mistaken. It's not Fort Ontario. It's by Lake Ontario, all of these. But there's Fort Niagara, Fort George, where I'm standing right now. And I don't know if you can see the shape of them, but this one, I was going to fly over the drone, but across the water this morning. I was sitting here by the beach, but it was really windy, and I started getting warnings. But this one looks the neatest to me, but this one is the largest. So it's pretty neat to see. But yeah, it's closed today, so no one's really around, so we'll probably go up and take a little peek. I'm gonna set my bag down, and we'll go have a little look, see what we can see. Like I said, I'll be flying a drone at some point in time. Let's see what happens. You see in there? I'm gonna have to get a better view, maybe. Fuck. Oh, shit. Don't mind me. Oh, fuck. Okay. Starfort. Whew. That was a bit of a climb. And we have Niagara River behind us. Lay of the land. Pretty neat, eh? Excuse me. And like I said, I'll do some top-down shots after I jump off the line. But this one is fairly large. Actually, a lot more defensible than some of the other ones I've been looking at. But they do like recreations, or what do you call that? What do you call it when they do like old wartime kind of demonstrations or whatever? They all dress up. And do you guys know what it's called when they do like the war? Like they wear the proper clothing of the time period. They have the fake guns and stuff like that. I forget the name of it. It's like right on the tip of my tongue. Reenactments. Thank you. Yeah, that's the one. But yeah, it's just like really neat, to be honest. But yeah, it's only open Wednesdays, Saturdays or something, so I'm the only one here right now. Yeah, it's a pretty good spot. I mean, the only thing about this one is, this one's different. This one, there's no tunnels that I'm aware of, whereas the other one was all bricked up. So I wonder if this at one point in time had a structure underneath some of these ridges like the other one did. Or, because like some people question like whether it's, cymatics or like sound frequency kind of stuff. Kind of like people like theorize that that's what's creating that shape of the star patterns or whatever, and they've used some sort of technology. But then I see ones that have buildings and like structures built into these mounds, so it really makes me wonder. I don't know about you guys, but I don't know, it's pretty neat. But yeah, there's all kinds of forts all around, and there's another site that I'm going to be going to take a look at later. It's not a fort, it's something else, but I've been talking a lot about monuments lately and their importance, and it's a monument that, I've been going there since I was a kid, but like I said, I came back here. I've been here for like 20 years, so 15 years, but anyway, so just kind of things out and showing you guys here and there. At some point in time, I'm gonna have to get a gimbal so I can walk around and talk, because I'm bouncing all over the place. But yeah, there's a bit of a delay, eh? Oh shit. Sorry, just give me a second. If you have any questions about the area, the fort, if you want, I can go up to some more plaques. If you're interested, we can go down here. I'm down here right now, so pretty cool. There's the gate. There's some other structures as well. Maybe I'll have to do more of this, just going the off hours. Apparently a lot of people will come down here because it's haunted, or there's some really old graveyards as well that I was in and looking at today. But yeah, they say they were like filming orbs and things of that nature. But that's pretty neat. I'm just gonna walk over these plaques and go take a look with you guys, get an idea of this bastion fort. But yeah, if you missed, it's Fort George. It's pretty neat. Like I said, I've known about a lot of this stuff since I was a kid, but I didn't know what it was. You know what I mean? You don't pay attention. You get told something, you accept the narrative, and you move on with your life. You don't think about it, right? Okay, 6-pounder field gun. So just talking about these things, let's get a better look at this. I forget if they shoot these or not. I feel like they do. I feel like they do actual reenactments with these, where they do either just like a, what do you call it, a blank or something, because I'm pretty sure I remember them. 1759. Yeah, this thing's pretty cool. But I do think some of them actually do fire, but some of them might just are props as well, I imagine. Pretty neat though. Pretty neat. But yeah, it's a pretty cool spot, and like I said, I'll pop the drone up here after I get off the live, and yeah, I'll just kind of pop in here and there as the day goes on. There's another spot I'll be hiking to. It's mostly a lot of hiking for me, so there's really no point in showing you guys everything, but let's see. While I'm here, I'll read this. Everywhere. So artillery was vitally important to the defense of Upper Canada due to the shortage of heavy cannons available in the province. There were only 5 garrison guns mounted inside Fort George in May of 1813. Moving large cannons weighing several tons was a challenge. Yeah, okay, so yeah, they can move the cans around. That's a big challenge, but imagine moving tons and tons of stone or dirt, and it's all done with horses. So another reason why we question a lot of this old architecture. But moving on. So the easiest way to move the guns was by water. Movement by land was slow and labor intensive and could expose the men moving them to enemy fire. Bad weather and poor roads could also make the movement of large guns very difficult. After the destruction of the Fort George by the Americans, the British were forced to leave behind the garrison artillery. 7 months later, the Americans also left behind a number of serviceable artillery pieces, when the British forced them to abandon Fort George. Shortly after the period of the War of 1812, the motto of the Royal Artillery became "Ubique," Latin for everywhere. The reality of war often made this a challenging motto to live up to. But yeah, anyways, I mean, it's what you see is what you get, basically, with this spot. You really can't really tell what you're looking at until you are actually like bird's eye view up top, and that's why I'm really happy that I have the drone now, because, well, I mean, I've had it for a little bit, but it just really opens new doors and allows you to see a whole new world, and like some of the tops of buildings that you wouldn't normally get to see from the streets, and it makes for some cinematic shots and things of that nature, so it's kind of fun. I enjoy it. But yeah, like I said, Fort George, a lot of our historical stuff in this part of this region of Ontario is all War of 1812 based, so it's interesting, the narrative of wars and resets and destroying evidence and things of that nature. And you know, I question whether some of these things really happened or if it was all faked, you know what I mean? But obviously some things have some base in reality, but just kind of question everything, right? Like at this point, we know we've been lied to, so best bet is to kind of go through everything and see what makes sense and what doesn't, instead of just questioning blindly, take everything at face value, you know what I mean? But, oh, right, check out this. I noticed a few of these around the town, like these little marker stones. This spot, or this marks the spot. I've seen that quite a few times in my travels, and I think it's kind of neat. Like, when did they make this? Like, how old is it? I got questions. Gonna sneak back out of here. Nothing like trespassing on live. I don't think anybody cares. It's an old fucking fort. No one's coming this way. Alright. Just remember, guys, I'm doing this with the phone in my hand. Just fucking climbing. There we go. Whew. It's a good thing I'm nimble. If only you guys could see me when I had to scale a casino. Oh, that was fun. Anyhow, I'm gonna have a seat here and smoke a bowl and think about life and start hiking towards the next spot. But I can't even see the comments right now, so just wait till I sit in some shade, guys, and I can respond to anything before I head off to the next location. It was interesting last night, sleeping in the starfort. A lot of fucking bugs, I'll tell you, but it was a neat vibe. I got some like night shots and stuff. I walked around the downtown. I have a few pictures of some historic buildings and whatnot. Yeah, it's good. Some of this is like reshoots because I kind of just came right through here in the wintertime, but it was really snowy, really cold, and I didn't quite get to see everything that I wanted to see, and some stuff was missing. So it's interesting to see where I'm at now. So, but anyways, let me see who's here with me. All right. Oh, hey guys. Anyways, I got a lot of hiking to do today, so I'm gonna get back to that, and I just want to show you guys. And plus, I gotta fly the drone now, so I'm just gonna smoke a bowl, throw my drone up, get some better shots, because the first time I came out here was the first day that I'd ever had the drone, so I just wasn't sure of myself yet, and I wasn't sure of its capacity, how high I could fly it, things like that. So I'm gonna get like a better drone shot for today, and then you guys will get to see that later once I upload everything. But anyways, guys, thanks for checking it out, and like I said, whatever you miss, like I'm gonna upload all these lives because they're just little short ones, me running around discussing the architecture, what's around me, and some of the history and whatnot. So, but yeah, whatever you missed, or if you missed it, you can watch it later. And yeah, so I'm gonna carry on, guys, and you have yourselves a good day. So I was just walking by that, and it just occurred to me that yeah, I'm walking through a apparent battlefield, right? So if there's a battlefield here, you can just picture it going on, muskets, things like that. Now, if that were the case, if we were looking to look at things in terms of like a false narrative, do you think in order for there to be all that there, they would have to plant them, or do you think all these things did happen? It's just the timelines are rearranged. Like, there's just certain things that don't add up. So I'm just trying to figure out what the best thing to think that it is, right? Because is it either that it didn't happen at all, or it didn't happen when they say it did? That's the thing I think I have to consider. Like technologies, weaponry, things like that. Maybe our muskets are really from like a really, really, really long time ago, and not from like a couple hundred years ago. So things to consider, right? Because you control the technology, you control the history, you control the people, right?